Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting, which was posted on, and we're going to follow the agenda of March 27th. The first thing is the review of previous meeting minutes. Diana?
March 13th.
Were there questions about March 13th? Polly, which was the one you had
The
questions
January
on?
one, the January 10th ones, there was that one line that needed to get edited out that had to do with,
Appointment.
to the comprehensive plan committee or whatever it was.
Yeah, somehow it got put on the, okay, well, let's get through March.
That should be,
Everybody get the March minutes? Any questions?
Are these the amendments amended?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I asked for changes, including the department number and the actual totals, so it'd be clearer. And those are included in these.
Yeah, Al,
Yep,
can I make a comment?
sure.
I just want to congratulate you on a job well done on the most recent spreadsheet that you sent out. Very well thought out and very helpful in getting everything. It really brought it to a capsule. It really helps. And I know you spent time and effort on it. Nice job.
Thank you, sir. So do we have a motion for March 13th?
Motion. Second.
Michael and Vinnie. Roll call. Lauren.
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. There was a note about the January minutes that we should discuss, because it noted that Paul Abodabo made an appointment, and obviously Paul didn't, I did. So I'd like to have a motion to amend those minutes, correcting that.
I'll second that. Oh, I have to make a motion for it.
Dave Levine made the motion, Vinnie second. Any objections, comments?
Well, were they previously approved?
Yes.
Okay.
We missed it till Paul Abedanza texted me, said, I didn't know I could make appointments. Roll call in favor. Lauren.
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Okay. Second item on our agenda is the Parks Department budget. See, I gotta look up what number it is.
650.
Oh, Andy here, I made you a copy. And they are color coded to make it easy. Okay, 650. It's showing a 10% increase, but there's confusion over 23, 24, numbers moving by 70 grand, and I think you can easily explain that.
Yeah, so we had an employee that year that was out on workman's comp, and because he's a union worker, we were unable to replace him.
I'm hearing.
So we had,
Speak up into the microphone, please.
sure. We had a union worker that was out on workman's comp and was out for the entire year. So that money was not expended because he was being paid by workman's comp. So, and that was in the range of 60,000, I believe.
So the jump, the 70-plus jump from 23 to 24 was that the person who was out on workman's comp now left so you could replace him.
Right.
And the jump from 24 to 25 is now the pool is open and you're going to have lifeguards?
Yes. So the pool is planned to be open in June as normal. And we'll be bringing all the workers back on. So last year I had spoke to Zach and I thought it was a good idea to take that money out because we knew the pool wasn't going to open. So we had taken that money out, and I believe when I spoke to you, the committee about that, they agreed that that was a good idea, and now we're putting that money back in. So,
So the $150,000 jump over 3 years, the first was 70-some, 80,000 for an employee.
Right.
The second is 71,000 for lifeguards.
right.
Nothing else, no other additions? No?
No, just basic, well, we did have the union contract that was signed, but that's all retro, and we're going to be facing the same thing coming in for this, so you're aware of it. They're coming up, their contract will be expiring in June, so they'll have to, you know.
We'll have to retro it in.
Right, and that will be that's just for the union worker increases.
We'll go to town meeting for that.
Yeah. No, I think the real question is when you see 150,000 jump over 2 years, you have to ask the question, not challenging, but just asking, saying,
No,
Why?
I sent some emails that were confusing too, and I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
I confused myself at one point, so.
but now that we understand the first jump was an employee that was taken out and rehired, and then the second is 71,000 worth of lifeguards that we took out, but now we put back in since the pool's going to open.
Right. And there were some minor things in the general, I don't know if you want to go through that, but just for this year, just electric, gas, Plains Park, the monitoring. We don't get a quote for the monitoring that's done at Plains until the end of April. So in the past 2 years, it's gone up about 7,000. Actually, since COVID, it's been pretty consistent, going up 7,000 to 8,000. So that's included in that, and then just equipment.
And what's that when you say monitoring?
They do we have test wells
Oh,
throughout the
okay.
park, so they do all that because it's on the dump.
Landfill.
Yeah,
It's a
on
trash.
the landfill.
It's the dump.
Yep,
You got to monitor the dump.
for the last 22 years.
Any questions?
Can I ask a capital question related to the pool?
You can ask, but we can only discuss it at the next meeting,
Okay.
because
My
capital
question
was
was going
not,
to be, did the project come in under budget?
It's not done yet, right?
No, it's not done, but,
that you can discuss because that's part of the budget.
Okay.
yeah, so it's not done. When, we're right in the range. It's going to be coming within budget from generally speaking now. I don't feel there's going to be a problem with that. We've been staying right within. There's been a couple change orders that have been in, but they've been very minimal. So I think we're in good shape moving forward.
Given all the inflation, did you have to reduce the extent of the project to stay within budget?
Well, right now, we're looking at what's going to be left over, and so the playground originally was being bid out separately than the pool, because it was it's same location, but different as far as construction-wise. So we had left that out intentionally to make sure we have that money for the pool in case there are any increases. And then I'm exploring some other options for some accessible grant money that is going out in May, that I can go for extra money for that playground. It's still unsure as just playgrounds are so expensive now. I mean, it can be a minimal of 150,000, we're talking all accessible, up to 450, it all depends what you want. We have 3 designs right now, and, it will all depend on what we get, but,
Yeah, the days are gone when you had the PTO raise the money to.
yeah. So the concert, it's a little bit different now, too, because it used to be like $30,000, there's so
Right.
much more now, yeah. So, but I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Jim.
The Parks Department is scheduled to come into the Capital Committee on April 10th, I believe.
April 10th, yep.
We'll confirm to go through the capital. Vinnie?
But those are separate projects. I believe the pool project, if I'm not mistaken, Jim, was a firm fixed price contract. So in your question, you say if the prices have gone up. If the contract was issued as a firm fixed price, it doesn't matter.
True.
The contractor has to eat it.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
And that's the purpose of the change orders.
Yeah, sure.
So they come out with a change order, and I've learned a lot through this process too, never having been dealing with a pool being built. So we meet bi-weekly with the architect and the contractor. Anything, change orders and stuff are then presented. And I'm very impressed with our architect because he's stopped a few change orders. He's basically said, no, you don't need to do that, or this and that. So he's definitely doing the right thing and not sort of just saying, yeah, go ahead and change it. He's doing his job, so it's good to see.
But normally, change orders are not issued simply because of inflationary pricing.
Right. This would be more on the construction side, not,
Yes.
yeah.
No,
Conditions?
change orders are for changes.
That's correct.
It has to be outside of the scope of the original.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Motion
I'll
to
make a motion to accept.
943,400, which is a 10% increase because of mainly the lifeguards being added
Yes.
back in.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have Vinnie and Andy.
Vinnie, okay.
Roll call, Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
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 unanimous, sold. Thank you, Jim.
All right, thank you. And thanks for your help, too. No problem.
Thanks, Jim. Okay.
Okay, the next item on our list is, on our agenda, is to go through the department budgets that were submitted since our last meeting. Now, unless there's an objection, I'm going to proceed with the idea that if we accept the budgets, then there's no reason to have the department heads come in. If we reject the budget or don't want to vote on the budget because we need more information, then we'll invite the department head and appropriate people to come in to the next meetings. Because we have had some people call and say, am I not on the schedule for this meeting? I said, no, we accepted your budget with the rationale you gave us. So people are generally happy if they,
Yeah.
So, Al, I just noticed on page 2, we've got fire in at a 6% increase. I think that's a low number.
well, again, when we get to it, Andy, because that one would be one that we would say we're not going to vote on it tonight.
Okay. But just in terms of a permanent change to the
Yeah, we'll
chart, we'll get to
change
it.
it
All
out.
right.
Okay, the first one on the list is the assessor's office, 141, going up 3%. Any questions?
Got a motion?
Michael, motion.
Second.
Andy,
Second.
second. Okay. Roll call, Lauren.
Al?
Oh, Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah, there's, I learned of an issue on this budget today, by virtue. They're planning on coming to town meeting with an article for additional $25,000. And I actually think that $25,000 should be in this budget. It's a, ongoing issue with doing, with an assessor. And my concern is that we end up with issues on town meeting floor that really shouldn't be there. They should be reviewed by the subcommittee, and if it's a one-time expenditure, you should put it in the budget, footnote it that it's a one-time expenditure, and then roll into the next year, removing it from the budget. But this is a ongoing, I guess it involves somebody that retired and they had to hire somebody, but they're going to incur $25,000 in fees, professional fees. It should be in this budget. It just shouldn't be, we shouldn't parade people off in front of the finance committee and in front of the town meeting unnecessarily. It's not, it's part of their business. And it just happens to be a place that I happen to, just by luck, because I was calling, asking some questions about the residential tax bill and how it would be impacted by this year's budget.
Okay, Zach?
And Jennifer made me aware that they're preparing an article for town meeting for $25,000, and I asked her not to do that.
I can speak to this a little bit.
Okay, Zach?
There is an article, 25,000. What it is we had a super part-time employee. I say that because they can only maintain them to do the assessment of the power plant, which is a specialized assessment. It's difficult to find people to do it. That's why we maintain this person. The person is retiring, does not want to do it. Therefore, Jen needs a professional that is designated in that area of expertise. So she's gotten a number of quotes. They're both of them out of state. The number seems to be 25,000. I don't completely disagree at all with what Jerry's saying. However, the rub here is that this was unexpected and that the issue may be waiting till 7/1, which would be the budget, could present an issue to have this ready for prime time for the tax recap in November. That's why, if it were free cash, which we do maintain and have, we could get it going a month earlier by doing it in an article.
But you can't expend it anyway till July 1st.
If it's free cash.
Even if it's approved.
Free cash is-
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm confused. I thought, I'll get to you in a second, David. I thought that once town meeting approves an expenditure, I don't know if it's the next day, but within a week, you can spend that cash.
If it's free cash, yes. Right
Right.
now with the annual, if it's raise and appropriate, which
But then
the
you gotta wait
entire
till-
budget would be 7/1 because it's a new tax year.
So the source of funding would have to be free cash.
Yes.
But the issue I have with this is, if the select board voted on the warrant yet,
No.
so this is all speculation.
Well, it's in the draft.
Yeah, I hear
Tell
you.
you that, yes.
But I'm hesitant to vote on something.
But we're not asking to vote on the article. Jerry's point was.
No, but Jerry's got a good point to say, if they bring an article forward, and I'm assuming they will be, but until it's voted on, I can't count on it, then we may have a motion to reconsider the budget and put it in, or we may not, because if we need the money for May, that would be a special circumstance. We could take it up in May.
We could fund this out of our reserve fund temporarily and fund it for just the month of June while the contractor's there, then pay the rest of it in July 1st. I really want to do, I don't want another town meeting with 48 friggin' articles on it. That is a total waste of time.
28.
Jerry,
Unbelievable.
we agree, and I believe the number's in the high 20s. But realistically, we have to wait, because I'm hesitant to have a discussion and vote on an article. First of all, open meeting law, I did not post discussion of articles unless they were ready, and they're not ready. But I think legitimately, Jerry, if it comes up at the next meeting, then we can have the discussion as to, are we...
Why don't we just add 25,000 to this budget and be done with the issue?
Because we don't know, there's nothing saying...
We do know. I think we should delay any action on this particular item at all.
We can do that. We can hold off on 141.
You could do that.
Let's hold off, and let's do it right.
Okay,
Let's get
David?
the,
Excuse me, Jerry, the 2024 budget, does that include the super part-timer or not?
No,
So
I didn't- can't understand.
where was this person before then?
it was in that budget
Wait a minute, the 440, when did he retire?
this year.
In 24, so,
He asked,
That's
what are we talking
he
about?
asked if it was in the budget, and you said no.
25 budget. You asked the 24 budget. Is it in the 25 budget? No.
no, but if it,
Sorry, I'm missing it.
no, it doesn't make sense then. So the 24 budget includes $25,000.
No, it's not 25,000. So as an employee, it was a part-time employee who was paid salary, and we had a really, really good deal. This is probably why you want the assessment.
So what's the delta? Yeah, what's the delta
Guys,
between what he did?
There's enough questions. Jerry's right. I would say let's pass over this to our next meeting and probably want the assessor in
Yeah.
to discuss it, and hopefully by then, the warrant articles will be approved and we can have it all
Plus, not to
on.
mention, Mr.
Al,
Lawrence.
I'll have another issue. Where's the general government subcommittee report on this?
General government will be reporting for the April 10th meeting, so we're in a meeting, I just talked with Rick yesterday, we'll be scheduling a meeting the end of this week, beginning of next week.
Okay, so we haven't had a general government subcommittee recommendation on this budget.
No, that's why I'm saying let's leave it alone. Let's pass it over till
Okay.
all the details come in.
Chris, let's see if we can't get this included in the budget, and I just,
Jerry, you got the
we need
order.
to,
You got the order.
Okay.
We're not going to discuss it tonight. Okay, 146, tax collector, going up 3%.
Mr. Chairman, you've already approved that, and as you'll notice above, the tax collector and the finance director is doubled. You have it in there twice.
Yeah, number 146.
Oh, you're right.
And you've already approved the
No, you're absolutely right.
tax collector here.
We approved it last meeting.
yeah, it says A on your report.
Yep. That means it was approved on the 13th.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, what I'm planning on doing is anything we approve tonight will be the green block with a B. So that way we can, if somebody asks a questions, when did we approve it, or accept it, sorry, not approve, accept, we'll have a record. Okay, so 135 is doubled, 141 is
Okay,
doubled.
146 is duped in here, so we
That's what
can
I'm
take
saying,
that out?
135 and 146 are duped.
So
I will take those out. 161, the clerk, 1% increase.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have David and Vinnie. Roll call, Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes,
Yes.
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 okay, that one is accepted.
that's a hell of a nice job.
Now,
Why is that no?
I checked with Amy this morning, because 166 elections are going up 18%, and that's exactly what happens every so many years that we have a third election.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Mr. Chairman, that's 162, not 166, just so you know.
Oh,
So that way you're approving 162 and not 166.
okay, 162 elections. That's going up 18%. And Amy said nothing's changed, except you have a third election, you have to pay for it.
Motion?
Motion.
Okay,
Motion approved.
we have a motion
Second.
with Lauren seconded. Roll call. Lauren.
Yes.
Jerry. Lauren did.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Okay, that, 163 registration, going up 1%. And
good to
following,
me, I'll motion approved.
okay, Jerry, who seconded?
Second.
Vinnie.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes, I'm,
Yes.
and
Yes.
sold.
Al, a quick question on 146 tax collector. That was changed to 288,595, and apparently there were $10 added to that, and then that went back out, so that might need to be revoted. It's just $10 more than I think originally was approved.
Okay, good point. We're changing, the motion is to change 146 tax collector from $288,585 to $288,595. We're adding $10 to the budget.
Do we know what that $10 is for?
Oh, stop.
Personal services.
Salary.
Motion
Motion.
by Andy, second by Vinnie. Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
I don't think we can afford it.
Yes.
Jerry,
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
sold.
Yes.
Okay, Conservation Committee, going up 2%, from 7,000 to 7,175.
I like the motion.
Vinnie makes the motion,
Second.
Andy seconds it. Not hearing any, if I don't hear a question, I'm just going to move on to roll calls. Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
yes,
Yes.
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 sold. Now, This one, I'm not sure if we can talk about town planner,
No,
Kick it, please.
because that'd be general government, that would come
We gotta do
under.
our meeting, yeah.
I would assume that if we're going to kick 170, sorry, guys. If we're going to kick one, that's what happens when you're fat old diabetic and you had the wrong dinner. Yeah, it's warning me that my blood sugar just went up. That if we're going to kick 174, that we're also going to kick 175 and 182.
Yes, sir.
So we'll put those on
Yes.
for the 3rd
The 3rd or the 10th, I thought we were
or
doing.
the 10th.
10th.
I was just trying to get through this meeting.
Al? Same thing.
Same thing? Yeah, I stopped at Wendy's on the way here, I shouldn't have. Okay, 210, 220 are scheduled for the 3rd, I believe,
Correct.
police and fire, so we'll go over those. Building,
All right, hold on, before we disappear from fire, can we change that percentage now? Or do you want to give the updated numbers, Zach, or?
I think we could do that on the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, would you fire me the updated numbers before the 3rd so I can update the list?
So, Mr. Chairman, does that mean, are we passing over 175 and 182 as well? Or
Yes.
okay, thank
All
you.
three of them.
That's why I said 174, if we're passing on that, 175 and 182
I'll have them done for the 10th.
are all linked.
Gotcha.
So police and fire will wait for the 3rd. Just so everybody knows, on the 3rd, we're going to have a subcommittee capital meeting and a public safety meeting at 6 o'clock to go over the capital before the 7 o'clock full meeting. So there's no confusion. We will not be going over the capital, we're not going to mix them up. 6 o'clock is the public safety meeting, so Chairman Andy may want to talk about budget there, but the official submission will be discussed at 7 o'clock. Buildings,
Al?
yes, sir.
Are you gonna have Zoom access for that 6
Yes.
o'clock session?
Yes, we've published
Thank you.
an agenda with the same Zoom, so if
You're on
you log
camera.
on. If you log on at
Hello?
6, you'll get the same Zoom that you use at 7.
Okay, excellent.
I'm not sure if
Thank you.
Mr. George will pause in between. No, he's shaking his head no. So you log in at 6, it's continuous till the end of the 7 o'clock meeting.
That's fine.
240, building inspector. Does that come under general government, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is that going to come
Preferably on the 10th, sir.
on the 10th? Okay. School department.
Well, we have a budget final number here of $73,828,784. That's up $4.4 million or 6.49% by my numbers from FY #24. It's comprised of a level service increase of 7.17%, plus 0.83% in some net initiatives, which actually had to be retained essentials, minus a 1.1% reduction from several offsets. So I'm speaking on behalf of the school subcommittee that we recommend approval of this number.
And it should be noted that the original budget was an 18% ask.
Give or take.
When we went into Michael's meeting, the chairman of the school committee, Chris Wilson, and the superintendent, Kevin McIntyre, let us know that they understood that the last couple of years, they've gone up high because of Chapter 70 being high. This year with Chapter 70 being 4-point-something%, they knew they had to cut back. Zach had come up with the magic number of 6.5%, being the maximum we could give the school and stay within our overall budget. We decided not to play games, but to be transparent and honest with the school committee and say, we can go up to 6.5%. That's the number. This is not, we're going to say 6.5, and you're going to say 7.5. We didn't play games. and they were very...
Can I ask you,
Yes, sir.
Al, does that entail the same number of employees working in the school system 2004 going forward?
I think so, Jerry, but it's so fluid when we say number of employees, because you have aides that come and go.
They're not having to lay anybody off.
No, the good news is, we did discuss the fact that if they laid somebody off, they have to lay off 1.5 people for every person they want to get
I
the
understand.
effect.
I understand.
You know what it means, but the people that are watching, all 4 or 5 of them, may not understand that we pay the unemployment directly.
That's not my question. My question, I understand the unemployment issue very well. I've dealt with it for 30
No,
plus
Jerry,
years.
I know you do, but anybody watching would wonder why.
But right now, my concern on this budget was during COVID, they hired a bunch of people. Okay, they were funded by COVID monies. But I understand they were able to incorporate those people. Am I right?
Yes, 2 years ago, no, let's be clear, 2 years ago, we got an incremental $7 million in Chapter 70 money. Michael's committee went to them and said, you can have $6 million of that. And of course, they asked, why can we only have 6? Because you put $1 million of salaries on the ESSA grant, and the ESSA grant runs out next year. So although the state gave us $7 million extra, the school committee could only net 6 because they had to pick up the people they added on the ESSA grant.
Okay. So there has been an adjustment to offset, compensate for the COVID money.
$1 million offset. Well, it wasn't really an offset. We didn't let them increase, or they didn't increase the extra $1 million.
It was a compromise.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
I'm pleased that they're coming to the table and not coming in asking for another $7-8 million in special initiatives on top of the increase already, so.
Absolutely.
Good job.
I was more than tickled at their approach.
Yep, okay, we got to get through this budget year, and then we'll go from there, so.
Any questions on school? Now, I would hope, before you make a motion, Michael, I would hope that once the budget and all this goes away, we have the school committee in here for a general debriefing.
After our,
After May. Because this is
Excellent idea.
$70 million to have 1 minute of full FinCom, and I know we've spent how many meetings of subcommittee, but I still think it's worth having them in, just talk about what the impact was and what the plans are for the future.
Our own budget.
Okay. Michael, do your motion. We have a second?
Second.
Andy seconded. Roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Sold. Okay, the next one is 350, Blackstone Valley Tech.
Can I touch on that?
Please.
Message from Dr. Fitzpatrick earlier, which I'd like to pass along a few highlights on. Milford's proposed assessment for FY25 is $1,644,395, inclusive of a current debt that we have of $40,226. Although Milford saw a student enrollment increase of 1 student from the previous year, bringing the FY25 head count from Milford to 160 students, the town's FY25 Valley Tech assessment was reduced by $20,014, or a reduction of 1.2%, which is a reduction you see on your chart here. Dr. Fitzpatrick reported that this was accomplished via multiple cost avoidance measures and success in securing donations and competitive grants. And based on Milford's overall assessment reduction, Milford's per pupil assessment has experienced a reduction, bringing our FY25 per pupil assessment to $10,026, non-inclusive of a debt figure. So If we send a student to BVT, it's $10,026. Not bad.
As compared to Norfolk Aggie being,
It's almost 3 times that.
yeah, I was amazed when I saw Norfolk Aggie at 27,000 per student. But hats off to Dr. Fitz that he's bringing in a -1%.
Some other towns may not be happy about it, but we'll be happy.
It is what it is. Any questions? Motion by Michael,
Correct.
Vinnie seconded it. Roll call, Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
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 okay, that one passes. Now, here's a question for the board. We have, oh, wait a minute, there's one before that, before my question. School Medicaid recovery,
I defer to Finance Director on
going
that
from
one.
35,000 to 40,000. It's only $5,000, but it's 14%.
Yeah, so this is the money that is used for an employee to submit to the federal government for reimbursement of Medicaid, and the numbers that come back are pretty hefty, 350,000, 400,000. So I think this is a really good return on investment here.
Well, it's always been a great return. Question is, why'd it go from 35 to 40?
I think just
Yeah, that's my question too.
salary increase, the people working it.
I mean, chutes and ladders, steps and lanes, and
I don't think they're on a shooting ladder type situation. I think it's just, it's like it's a part-time position or positions. I think just they're looking for more hours there's more enrollment that's eligible. So in theory, we should see a bigger number return.
Michael, would you put that on your checklist?
Yes, can we get some more detail on the 5,000 increase?
That's what I just said, put it on, Michael's putting it on his checklist because in theory, we should get more.
Yes,
Trust but verify.
will do.
Right, thank you, good point.
Should we, what's the pleasure? You want to vote the $5,000?
Could bring back info.
I'd wait till you get clarification.
Okay.
I don't want to just give away 5,000, not understand what it's about.
Yep.
Because the next time it'll be 50,000.
Okay, we'll wait to hear. Town engineer, 411.
Can I just go back on that 5,000 a little bit?
Yep.
So it's not really 5 because you're going to have a step increase of at least 3% above the 35. Right.
Yep.
So it's not really a 5,000 giveaway, it's probably less, just making that point. Can I make a motion that we try to approve this one, given the dollar amounts?
So why don't we find out what it is, so instead of guessing.
Okay.
Up to you, Dave.
I'll make a motion that we approve and receive additional information later based on the dollar value.
Okay, even if we approve it, Michael, please get us the information. Because we
Okay.
can always reconsider it.
I'll work with Mike tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Okay. Jerry, make yourself a note to bring that up if we don't get the report.
The problem, my experience in the 30-plus years I've been on this committee is nobody ever follows up and sees that it gets done.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll put it on the agenda. I'll put it on my
So this-
agenda.
If we get information that supports this increase, we'll approve it.
Okay, we have a
It takes
motion,
30,
but Jerry, we have a
Take 30
motion on the
seconds.
floor,
I second the motion.
and Vinnie seconded it. So go ahead, Jerry, now your comments.
it should take 30 seconds to someone saying, what is the $5,000 increase? And I'm surprised we don't know that answer.
Okay.
I thought the Finance Director explained that clearly. Did you not understand what he said, Jerry?
No, first and foremost, they can hardly hear them.
Zach, would you come
And
up so he can understand it, and maybe we can put this damn thing to bed?
And I don't like just casually adding 5,000 to the budget.
Okay,
$4,462,000.
Jerry, go ahead, let
Unanimously
Zach talk.
So this budget is a employee, it's not a union employee, so it's not as pure as Step and Cola. I believe it's contracted through the superintendent. I'm told simple, there is cost of living that gets associated, even if you're not on a union or a personnel board. I'm told that the cost will go up next year for the employee. I believe there's 2 employees that work this program that report Medicaid reimbursement to the federal government for those students that are eligible to receive funding back from the federal government, which we do to the tune of around $300,000 to $450,000, depending on the year. I'm told the increase is also ours because there's more students that are quote-unquote eligible for this program, therefore it's expected that more time will be taken to.
More money will be returned.
Yes.
And
In theory.
You use it, I have a question. Is this a W-2 employee or is this a contract?
W-2,
It's a W-2 employee.
yes.
So it falls under the personnel board and gets into that schedule, correct?
It's a school, so school does not report under personnel board,
It could be a contract.
yeah.
I heard too, okay.
Yeah, school is not personnel board.
Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor. If you don't agree with it, vote it down. If you agree with it, then we will go ahead and fund the 5,000 with the commitment from Michael and Zach that they'll still go and find the details.
You're not going to get a better answer than what he just gave
I
us.
could give you the exact numbers if that's the pleasure of the committee.
Call the question.
Lauren, roll call.
Yes.
Jerry,
Yep.
No,
Joycey,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
say 7 in favor, oh no, 6 in favor.
Oh, no, you're not counting you.
I don't vote.
Yeah, all right, 6-1.
6 in favor, 1 against. The motion passes. Okay, now I'm going
It's
to,
gonna be 7.
He's worried about the quorum.
Paul, did you say who was on
you're
first?
right, 7 and 1.
Did you say who was on first, Paul?
Chris came in late. So we have 9 here now, not 8. Okay.
He's
Town
right.
Buck's on
en-
second.
He's
Town
right.
engineer
He's right.
is being proposed that we add a stormwater engineer. I would say,
I'd like to have that conversation with general government,
I was going to
please.
say, I'd like to wait till the 10th
Yes.
when Scotty comes in
Yes, please.
and have a full, because that's $100,000 or whatever, $100,000 addition.
That'll be Liz Magny as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The general highway budget, I have no problem voting on that. It went up 1%.
Motion?
that looks good. Let's motion to approve it.
Okay, motion by Michael, second by Vinnie. Any discussion? Roll call. Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
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 okay, passed. Now, highway construction, I'm going to ask that we wait till Mr. Christofoli comes in, because that's a 50% increase, and it's a big number, so I think we have to have a detailed discussion. Anybody disagree?
No,
Mr.
good
Chair,
idea.
I'm curious, has the subcommittee met on that?
Have not.
Okay, I'd like to have a discussion before you do so, please.
Sure.
Snow and ice, 423, flat with 600. Any questions? I mean, everybody knows that's the only budget that we always keep flat because we can always overspend.
How could we do so far this year, do we know?
Yeah, we're in the hole 115,000.
Really?
So as of right now, we'd have to go to town meeting for 115, yeah.
Is that a pothole or is that just a?
Well, compared to some of the other years.
Snow and ice.
It's
I don't
ice.
know if it costs more for the pothole to fill that.
Well, the good Dr. Chris O'Foley tainted my view when I listened to weather, and they say there's a snowstorm coming of 6 inches, and it's like $12,000 an inch. You immediately start thinking that's $70,000.
It's not 12,000 anymore.
No.
It's more like 25 to
Jerry.
30.
What is the current deficit? I can, when they're in the back of the room. In the back of
100,000.
the room, it just echoed, so,
115, actually.
Yep.
okay.
I did put an article on to clear that.
Okay,
We can deficit spend that account.
Yep.
Motion to approve?
yeah. second.
Motion to approve by Michael, second by Vinnie. Roll call, Lauren,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
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 sold. Okay. Waste collection and transfer station. I mean, I'm okay with waiting to have somebody come in, but, because it's a big number.
That's important to have Scott in, for sure.
I mean, I'd like to get some
Do we have a-
details.
Yes.
Do we have a subcommittee report?
No, that's the other reason. We don't have any details on that kind of increase. I did hear from the Board of Health agent that all municipal contracts are going up like crazy. But there's questions on, does it include the use of single dumpster things and
Totes.
totes? Yes, those miserable totes. So let's schedule, who's got Board of Health?
Dan.
No, but who on our committee
Me.
has Board of Health? Chris?
Yep, general government.
Okay, bring them in either the 3rd or the 10th.
The 10th, sir.
You should parallel it with highway, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that makes sense because of Scotty.
Services,
And transfer station.
Okay.
come on.
Now, the sewer enterprise fund, going up, they're going up 2%.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the Board of Health is scheduled to come in already.
Okay,
I believe it was the 10th. They are coming in on the 10th.
so we'll hold those two off till the 10th.
Just so we don't have to reach out to Dan again, that's all.
Sewer enterprise. God forbid we should have less than 80 emails in a morning going across.
I would propose we approve 440, 450, and 491.
Please hold off on 450. I'm
Okay.
working with Dave Condrey and them on that. I think there's a subcommittee meeting tomorrow, by the way, for water. So please hold off on that.
Okay, so 440 and
Yeah.
491?
The question is Dave Condrey a town employee now?
Yes.
They all are.
We've took pretty much the entire water company staff and rolled them over.
Yes.
All who wanted to.
Can I-
All who wanted to. Yes, indentured servitude is no longer in vogue.
Can I ask you just a general inquisitive question?
Sure.
So the water department is funded through the ratepayers, right?
Enterprise fund,
So,
yes.
just curious, why is it shown like this?
So at the very last page of all these budgets are going to go into Article 4. That's what's presented at the annual town meeting for the operational budget. You may recall, because it still has to play by the same rules of can't overexpend, we have to issue a budget, it's from 7/1 to 6/30, so it's still all those rules. However, if you look at the very last page that supplements Article 4 that goes to town meeting, that very last page is a couple of things. It authorizes various transfers, but the first paragraph will tell you what is either levied through raise and appropriate through taxation or through user fees per enterprise fund. And what you'll see this year too is the use of retained earnings as well of those enterprise funds. Those amounts, if you recall, when you look at, as we call it, the balance sheet, it's really the income and expense statement. If you remember, which I know you don't have in front of you right now, but on the left-hand side under other funding is those amounts for user fees. So it does get directly offset. But the reason it is here, it still has to play by the same rules.
But still, you want it here, because not that, I mean, the commissioners are Milford people. They wouldn't try and pull a sneaky. But if they funded the rate for $100 and they had expenses funded for 110, 10 comes out of our budget.
Right.
So it's good to have it listed to say the net is zero to us, but it's still listed.
I'm not sure that that's exactly right. I think they have to raise the rates to cover their expenses. Zach can answer that better than I can.
Run for water commissioner.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about
Water commissioners, when they'll come in, we can ask those questions. So we'll put
I
off,
would move that we approve 440 sewer enterprise at $4,422,078. just I don't know if everybody understands that really does not impact the residential tax bill. So that has little or no effect
Same
on our
logic,
budget.
neither does
Yeah, well,
450.
Yeah, wouldn't it be?
Same logic with the water department too.
As long as
Zach
it's
wants to
zero.
bring- Yeah, let's just get the sewer done, move on, and hopefully they collect the money to pay and spend.
So motion by Jerry to approve 440 and 450.
No, no 450, we're not ready with
Oh, I
that.
mean 491, 440 and 491.
No, I didn't say 491.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
say that. There's a reason.
Okay,
The sewer
440.
is different.
You
Sewer
got,
is different.
you got the order. Motion by Jerry, who seconded 440? Somebody second 440?
I'll second 440.
Lauren seconds 440. Discussion? Roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes, I motion.
Yes.
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 Sold. We're going to put off 450 and 491 Vernon Grove, flat.
Motion to approve. It's flat. It's good.
Second.
Is that Lauren seconded it?
Yes.
Yep.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
No, you can't say yep till David says yep.
Yep.
Now,
Yes.
I got to keep the flow, otherwise I'll
Sorry.
skip somebody. Okay. Health Department,
The tree department is already approved, right?
Tree Department was approved last meeting.
Okay, good.
Health Department going up 6%.
Is that general government?
No, it's under,
That's usually not.
No.
It might be the same person, but it might be.
I don't know what it's under, to tell you the truth. I can't remember.
human service. Did they have a meeting coming up that we're going to
So
attend?
we'll wait till the 3rd on that.
Right.
Visiting nurses, flat.
Motion to
That and
accept?
dental will go together if you want to do the two of those.
522 and 524. Michael made a motion
To accept both?
to accept those.
Second.
Andy seconded it. Any discussion? Lauren, roll call.
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sold.
Hey, Al,
Yes, sir.
where's the health department come under as subcommittee?
I can't remember.
You have its own subcommittee, doesn't it?
It's
Is it general government?
not,
It's under
I
human services.
Human Services,
didn't
What is
bring
it?
my sheet.
whoever has access to it, it is online
What's the question?
on our drive.
Who's on the subcommittee?
Who's the subcommittee chair?
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, it's David Levine.
Okay, no.
Okay, senior center.
Who's up?
That's going up 8%.
Oh, could we all, we'd like to talk about it with Chris too, if we
So
could.
that's going to be pushed off to the general
Yeah.
government.
Oh,
Okay? And we got one more, retirement, going up 7%.
I'll handle that one. Retirement, that is our annual required contribution. It's a adopted funding schedule we've had for a number of years now. Nothing we can really do about it, that's the number.
Motion.
Andy,
second.
Michael, any discussion to have Zach change the retirement plan of the state?
Senior center.
That's a part of that.
Let's get the
Who's going to change that?
It's one of those other.
No.
They held
I'm being
off on that for some
facetious.
reason.
Lauren, roll call.
Yes.
We kinda
Yes.
screwed
Jerry.
over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Sold. So that's it for tonight. I'll summarize so that the department chairs can reach out to the people we haven't. And I'll put in the 3rd meeting, because I got to do that this weekend, We're ahead of it. Good news is the good Dr. George already gave us our links, and Comcast has already agreed to film on the 3rd both the subcommittee meetings and the full committee meetings. It won't be with Jerry. Tonight is our last meeting filmed by Jerry, as he's going off to make flutes. He's going to be a skilled craftsman.
Awesome.
So, Jerry, on behalf of all of us, we want to thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
Have fun at band camp.
Not that Jerry.
Which Jerry?
Not Jerry Hyatt.
I'm not Jerry Hyatt?
Jerry Hyatt doesn't make flutes.
Jerry's gonna make flutes.
We had 13 people, pretty excited for a second there, Al.
Oh, stop.
That'd be the Pied Piper.
It's a man's
Okay,
side
the
voice.
warrant articles, I listed if they were ready. They aren't ready. Hopefully, we'll have it for the 3rd. I'll list it if they're ready, and if not, by the 10th.
To manage expectations, I think it'll be the 10th.
Be the 10th.
I think so.
I hope so, otherwise somebody else is going to be doing it, because I'm heading to Paris on the 13th.
It will
Nice.
definitely be ready for the 10th, I'll tell you that.
Croissants will be ready.
Croissants will be ready. Okay. I don't see anybody here for invitation for public speaking. There is another question that's come up, which is, years ago, I can't remember how many years ago, we bought a series of Chromebooks for the FinCom to use. They're due now to be replaced, and Dr. George brought up the question of, is it needed to replace them? As I see nobody using them, I've got an issue with spending money on Chromebooks that nobody uses. Now, on the other hand, Chris George has said that he has one or two, that if somebody needed it for a meeting,
Yeah, we have 10 Chromebooks that were purchased during COVID
Yeah, this,
to help with vaccinations. Those are only 2 years old.
so we could still have access as long as no more than 10 of us wanted it at once.
Yes, and since pile.
There's a stack of them on the black box in the corner. So if someone needed one, they're there, but
We just can't upgrade them anymore, so they're so far behind, we can't even secure them anymore.
No, we would have to spend 20 grand or 30 grand to buy new ones, and I
Don't need to.
don't think we need to spend that kind of money.
Not this year.
Are there any other boards or committees in the same situation?
No,
It's just this one?
just FinCom has their own.
Right.
And I asked a question, since these are very old, can we still get use out of them? And maybe if we donate them to the school, they have tons of Chromebooks that they could use these as parts.
I'd suggest you donate them to the schools
And not replace them, right, Jerry?
and not replace them. It was a good idea when Mark brought it to the committee, but it's kind of died on the vine, unfortunately, but
Okay.
we'll get by without them.
Oh, it does. That was a
Straw
Chris
poll.
inside
Does
voice
anybody
right
have any
there.
objections?
Zola.
No.
We don't need to make an action, take an action. It's just, if we wanted to buy new ones, we would. Since we don't, we let it go. Second question, Google Drive and license. Chris, you could explain it better to me, but my understanding is we all have access to the Microsoft Windows.
Don't move.
We don't need to renew licenses for the Google Drive. Is that the essence?
So, yeah, I mean, you pay an annual cost between $700 and some odd dollars for Google licenses, I believe, every year. We have Microsoft 365 for the entire town. We have OneDrive for everybody. We have Teams for everybody. I don't see the reason why you'd want to pay for Google again for another year if we already have the exact same offerings in Microsoft. And you guys already have a Microsoft email address from us that you already have access to it as you do now. This will allow the information to stay current, stay backed up, stay secured, so, because right now we have no access to Google's, so if you lose Google, it's gone. And you'd have just a wider variety of all the other options that 365 gives you within your licenses for your emails, so.
So basically, we're getting rid of something that's redundant, and
Right.
saving $700.
I mean, I could set up a Microsoft Teams just for FinCom, I could set up a Teams for each subcommittee, and just, again,
But again, we're removing a redundant option and saving hundreds of dollars in the process.
But I also want to make sure that's okay with Paul, because Paul uses the Google more so
Yeah,
than.
we can ask the members how many people use the stuff that's on the Google Drive for use.
Well, I think the real question, Paul, is how many people can't use the Microsoft version? Because we're not saying don't use the file sharing and all. We're just saying instead of going to Google, you go to Microsoft.
And every one of you has already gotten a Microsoft email address from
You're
us.
talking Microsoft Teams? Teams?
Yes, Jerry.
Is it
Al?
Teams or one?
Teams? Yeah.
Yes.
Teams and OneDrive, yes.
Which would it be, though?
If you have Teams, you're always using OneDrive.
Oh, okay.
That's where the data's stored.
Okay.
Al, I can hardly hear him, so can you speak?
Yeah, Jerry, what he's saying is today we all have Microsoft Teams accounts, which comes with OneDrive, so we have all the same capabilities as the Google Drive gives us. We're already paying for the Microsoft version, and we're also paying for redundant Google Drive version, so we're going to narrow it down to one and not pay twice. And once this budget...
I would leave that decision up to Chris George. What's going to work best for the committee?
Well, Chris is proposing it, so he's doing his good doobie work by asking us, did he miss something? Which I think is admirable. I don't hear anybody saying that they have a problem with it, so Chris, sold.
We're going to go to Microsoft Teams?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
We're not going to, we're there already, we're just going to start using it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is it going to be set up in a similar way? Like, so there'll be something that's just for the finance committee?
Correct.
That will be our team name or something?
Correct.
And then the type of files that we put? It'll almost be like...
And they'll be restricted from other departments. Taxes unless FinCom shares them. Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need to do, but I don't know how many people even use it, so that would be a good...
Well, if you're not using the Google Drive, you probably not use the Teams at the same level. Okay, any reports on Countryside?
Yeah, I think we talked about getting approval for the report that we were going to submit as part of the town meeting package. I think it was about a week ago. I circulated the report to everyone that we had developed in the subcommittee and had approved in the subcommittee. So people have already seen that. I think if it's okay with the chair, I would say we just take a vote, and if it's approved, rather than us reading all of this into the record, we could just post it on the geriatric section of the Finance Committee portion of the town website.
Has everybody read it? Seriously?
Yes.
How do I know what it is?
That's what worries me.
We prepared a report to be included in the package that goes to town meeting members. Not terribly different from the reports that you may recall that we discussed on Countryside in the fall.
Right.
We just tightened it up a little bit. Zach helped us with some historical numbers. So it's a 3-page document that we propose to include as an insert to go to town meeting.
I'm good with that.
Have you read it? Now is the time to say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Has everybody read it and feel comfortable to either have a positive or negative opinion? Then make the motion.
Motion to approve the report that was circulated to the Finance Committee sometime in the past week or 10 days.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Who, did you, Vinnie?
Yeah.
Vinnie seconded it. Any more discussion? Roll call. Lauren?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Sold. Last item, update by Finance Director. You found millions of dollars that we didn't know we had to spend.
Close. So we've done a lot of progress. We've voted a lot of budgets. We're leaving the big boys with the big increases for last. You may recall the couple meetings ago when working with Paul, we presented a balance sheet that had a ideal budget We made it clear that that's likely that was not going to be what was submitted, but the number where we wanted to end up was around 151 million. The numbers right around now is 152 million, so it's about $1 million differential. Since then, we know the state is where it's at, and that has not increased. We've spoken with the assessor's office. We originally used 800,000 in new growth. It's looking like it could be as high as 1.1. We're not going that high yet. We're using 875. It does look like it minimally will be at least 900. So we increased a little there. We've also addressed local receipts a little bit in light of the interest rates that Chris Pilla, town treasurer, is really killing it with right now, which is substantially higher than what it's been in past years. What does all that mean? Right now, we have a deficit between what we presented of around $644,000. I purposely asked if some of these subcommittees had met, and I'd like to talk because I do think some budgets need to be hit still. I'd be looking for around $200,000, maybe $300,000, and then I think we're in somewhat of a safe position at that point. Where would the remaining amount come from? Just to be very clear, the remaining amount of around $350,000 of a deficit would directly come out of the levy adjustment at this point, which right now stands at 5.78 million. We'll call it 5.8 million. So if that comes out of that adjustment, which it's still early at this time, the full picture doesn't come together till October when we see what will actually happen with all the additional articles. We'll see what happens with Central Street Bridge, geriatric, some of those other items that we talked about before. But right now, as we're primarily focusing on the operational budget, which we should be, that's where we stand. I think we still need to do about $200,000-$300,000.
And Andy asked for the long-term borrowing schedule, because for years, Zach's been talking about, if all went well, if we behaved ourselves on expenses, we would have $5 million of levy, and about $2 million would be coming off the long-term debt schedule, which would give us the cushion of $7 million. Still a tax increase if we spend that levy capacity. But $7 million could be dealt with at the town meeting, and that should finance our part, and I say should because we have no numbers, of the high school. The danger we have now is that if we take that $5 million down to $4 million or $3 million, and we still get $2 million coming off the debt schedule, that's a lot less money available when the high school interest hits. So keep in the back of your mind that the idea was to have $7 million available to finance the high school without going for profanity, without going for a debt exclusion.
Does that assume that we would not have any other capital projects in the next 20 or 25 years? And is that an accurate assumption?
No, because
The bottom left-hand side is always bakes in our capital projects.
yeah, you have, it's not two, we don't have just $2 million.
You're talking about $2 million coming off.
At the time that the high school comes on.
But will anything else be coming on besides the high school?
And if I may, this is the importance of that tactic that we have been doing that started when you were chairman, that as debt is falling off, we're sliding it directly into the stabilization contribution,
Okay.
purposely maintaining that budgetary bonding capability, as I call it, or in other words, not allowing it to slip into other budgets.
So the stabilization would effectively draw down if you had another capital project?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Okay, well, the thing is, Andy, we probably have, 10, 12 long-term debt line items, and they all come off at a certain time. Things like Woodland, was that 30 years?
No, 20.
20.
We
So
killed
in the next
Woodland, we did really good.
24 years, Woodland, because Chris got us at cheap interest rates, we did it at 20, that'll come off within the 20 years, because within 20 years, there's gonna be Stacy coming at us.
That's what I'm...
So you have to look, and we forget about things that we did 15 years ago that are still being paid off.
So let me ask about Countryside. What's embedded for an assumption in those numbers that you just ran?
1 million,
1 million?
yeah.
Okay. Because even if no further funding was approved, we still got the bond payment issue, right?
Yes, correct.
We still have $800,000.
Correct. Well,
Okay.
just to clarify too, when I say 151 million versus 152, that's operational budget only. That's not embedding anything with any other articles, including countryside.
Okay.
David, you had a question?
Yeah, this question might be more for the assessor's office, but I wonder if you have any insight, because I am really curious about the new growth, especially when we had like the casino that's now an apartment building, the middle school lease coming in online, the new gas station up top of Dilla Street there. I mean, there's a lot of improvements, and then on the flip side, we have now vacant commercial buildings and retail buildings.
Apartment building.
And apartment, do we know what that impact is to the town, to the taxpayer?
Specifically what?
Like this, well, it's assessments, right? So do those assessments, so basically we have a whole brand-new 395 units that's going to be assessed now. We have the new improvements at the end of Dilla Street, that gas station's now going to be assessed now at a higher value.
Yes.
Middle school lease is now going to be online, that's more tax base. And then, I don't
You're
know how.
asking individually or the overall? impact?
Overall, like
Yeah, so
holistically.
that's what we're saying, 875,000, that's
Some
the
of that
actual
is in
growth.
last year's new growth.
Some of it's in last year's new growth?
Anything that we closed out becomes part of that last year's. new
Because I would think we'd have a lot of like new growth.
Well, we have over the last couple of years.
Yeah, all right.
And things like the apartment buildings.
Let's
those-
not
that growth
get
is
into
added.
trouble, since it wasn't posted, a discussion on that, but we can post it for when the assessors.
For the
come in.
assessors are coming in here? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that new growth number we're talking about, that's the tax associated with it, not the new actual assessment, that's the.
No, I get that. No, I get, I mean, that tax
Yeah.
comes, right.
So, I mean, call it $1 million, that's a lot of tax.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, remember that when you bring up, and this is as far as we're gonna go on discussion, vacant buildings, buildings still being taxed. If, just because you don't have a tenant, you're still paying the tax on the building.
Yeah, I have questions on that, but that's for the
But
assessor's
that's for
office.
the, that's,
Right.
okay. Any other future agenda items? I've kept notes on what we said we're gonna put off. I'll make sure that I have the 3rd and the 10th agendas set up. I'll send them out as preliminary so you can look at them. Any other questions
Just on this or in general?
in general?
I have a question on something I'd like to jump back to an earlier area. I guess I'd go to subcommittee discussions, and I don't know if this would be under general government or human services or what, but I'd just like to ask Andy if there's been any progress on your research on billing for municipal ambulance service?
Can't discuss it.
Why?
Future meeting.
Open meeting law, we didn't post it. Now, if the subcommittee talked about it, he can tell us that they talked about it and put it on for the next meeting.
Okay.
I'm learning that we've been a little too loose with our agenda and subcommittee. I was told that subcommittee reports can be reports. At the subcommittee, we discuss the following. If we want to have discussion, it's got to be on the agenda.
So it has to be an individual agenda item as opposed to a report by whatever subcommittee
Yes.
this would come under?
Because that's what stirred a lot of controversy or questions when Andy brought up the ambulance service discussion.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a problem.
No, it was only about 10 phone calls to me about that.
All right.
But we can bring it up at the next meeting. I'll put it on the agenda if you would like. So, anything else? Paul?
I was just gonna say, I did start running debt numbers for a high school project. So we are starting to take a look at the capital cost.
Interest-wise,
Yes, based on what the current interest rate structure is.
it more than 7 million?
It could be, but we don't know what the total.
We're not borrowing for 3 years
Gotta be a small
We
minimum.
don't know what the total dollar value is, whether it's a build or a renovation. So that's gonna be the giant determination.
Yeah, we can't discuss it, but
Same
the
numbers.
bill-
We're not
if you
borrowing
look
for
at the
3
last two
years.
bills on record, Tri-County was 288 million, and the one in Haverhill was 450 million. That blows off any model we had if it's not renovation, but we can't discuss it.
Worcester just bonded 150 mil, their share.
But that's to do a
25
reno.
25 years, all right, 5%, 8 million in principal, 6 million in interest, year one.
Okay. Any other questions? We got through it pretty quick. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
second, by Michael, motion to adjourn is not debatable. Lauren, roll call. Cat.
Yes. Yes.
Lauren's bringing out the cat. Anybody who disagrees gets a tap. Jerry?
Yes,
Yes.
good night.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Chris?
Yep.
Yes.
That's it. Good night. For the 4 people watching, thank you for hanging on.